Hello. We've got a new moon coming up, and if you could use some grounding, you're in luck because it's a Taurus new moon. And Taurus is this fixed air energy full of stability, which is great for us to utilize during these crazy times of transition that we're going through. I'm Renee Varnador, and this is Soul Portal Journeys. Thank you for joining me here. I do the new moon every month, and I'm a galactic anchor for spiritual trailblazers who are birthing a creative vision from within your heart. So, if you're doing that, join me over in my Patreon group. I'll tell you more about that at the end. I'll give you a link in the show notes. But it's exciting if you don't know how to tap into what is within you, which is all the wisdom and all the unique capabilities that you need as a soul to navigate this amazing time we're in of intense learning. Um, Most of us can use some support. I know I can. So I like to do guided meditations to help people get inside their heart. So let's get right down to the moon. We're looking at this new moon, which of course, new moons are always the sun and the moon conjunct. That means on the exact same degree. In this case, 7 degrees, 46 minutes of Taurus. And that's going to happen on April 27th, 2025, at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. So that's kind of when you're going to be able to tap into this incredible energy the best. Now, new moons are a snapshot of what's being set up for us for the whole month. So, we get some grounding, which is good because there's a lot of intense things going on also during this new moon. One of the most intense things is this red line right here, right across. It's got Mars in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius. And of course, Leo and Aquarius are opposites. And when Pluto and Mars have an opposition, a lot of things can happen if it's next to something that's close in your chart. For me, it's close, right? So I'm feeling it. I've been feeling it. And so different plans that we've had have been thrown up in the air, and then other things coming to happen and say, yeah, you really do need to be doing this. You really do need to be moving. You need to be moving forward, moving house. So we're working on it. So we've got this Pluto Mars opposition happening around the same time as the new moon. So this opposition between Mars and Pluto is happening on Saturday, and on Sunday, the new moon happens. And the new moon is part of the configuration with Mars and Pluto. So we're still feeling that energy of action and transformation going this way, that way. Oh, look what's unfolding. And if we kind of let ourselves surrender to the process, then it's a lot easier. And so my husband and I are learning to roll with the punches here at this time. And thank goodness for this one, because in the middle of all of that crazy, there was this beautiful sense of stability and peace and groundingness. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's sun just moved into Taurus. That's going to stabilize everything. And then I begin to really look forward to this new moon and how it's setting up this fixed, stable place of grounding. So if you haven't found that space within you that is always fixed, or maybe you had it for a while and then you lost it, because if we plant that outside of us in other people or other situations or other places or things that we're doing, and we're not planting it within us, then when the next thing happens to help our soul unfold, we will have lost our grounding. And so one of the things I teach is to help us ground into the earth, ground into the center of our heart where our vision's born, and then ground into this higher perspective of the galactic center. So that's one of the things that I'm doing to help everybody through this, because we're all in this together, right? So one of the magical things about this placement at 7 degrees Taurus is that there's a star right here called Schedar, and it is at 8 degrees, which is really close, because stars you usually want to see 2 degrees tops if it's a really big bright star. And we got one on this. We don't always get a star conjunct the new moon, but this time we do. So I'm going to have a couple of slides here talking about Schedar in Cassiopeia constellation. So that'll be interesting. Give us a little bit more. Mars, now Mars in the Pluto opposition also has a dwarf planet in there helping us. And this is a dwarf planet of mastery. Okay, and it's like it's like a religious figure, this Varuna. This sense of really knowing. It's like a Zen master, knowing the whole universe, knowing what's going on, or any religious tradition. The head, the one that's the most connected to the archetypal godness. Okay, so a lot of times, if we tune into the archetypal pattern of godness within us, because we have all the patterns within us, sometimes we go a little off the rails thinking we're God. We got a couple of political figures in right now that are, you know, little doing some God, a little crazy stuff. Think they're all knowing and all powerful, and they don't know much. So that can be a problem. But if we know that these are archetypes that we can access and that we all have different pieces of the puzzle, then we can work with the energies in the skies. So having mastery of the mysteries of life, in the middle of this polarity of conflict, is really, really helpful, because then we can find our own mastery with this dwarf planet Varuna helping us out here. Okay, so that's that one. And we have Mercury. Here's my Mercury over here. Mercury, as it is at 11 degrees, conjunct Salacia. Now, Salacia was at 10 degrees when Venus went retrograde on it and Mercury went retrograde on it. And there was this star Algenib in the Pegasus constellation that was really the star of last month. But this month we have Mercury again. Mercury went into retrograde, went into Pisces, came back out of retrograde, and is back into Aries at 11 degrees. Mercury moves really fast, and of course he's the innermost planet, moving the fastest with 3 retrogrades a year. So he just speeds right around that chart. Of course, the moon is the fastest to go around the chart. Only takes it a month. That's why we have a month. Okay, so what else did I want to tell you about? Okay, so Venus, who was the star of last month, has a lot going on. She's in deep conversation with Saturn. She I think it's Friday, Saturday. She has a conjunction that's direct with Saturn at 27 degrees, I think it is. And then see that north node is at 26. So it's like 26, 27, 28, 29. When planets are that close, 1 degree off, they're all having a conversation together. So the north node has an influence on Saturn and Venus's conversation. And the north node is about our purpose and what we are stepping into and learning and growing through. And Saturn Venus just loves to go, and she loves beauty, and she loves grace, and she loves abundance and relationships and attracting people and all kinds of stuff like that, right? And so Saturn is there kind of giving her a little bit more responsibility, more structure with what she's doing and wants to achieve. And so Saturn is like the big brother that says, no, you're not going outside this house. We're not. And so there's this whole Saturn Venus. And when Venus becomes more responsible and Saturn becomes more soft, like Venus, that's really, really beautiful. So hopefully in your chart, those two are birthing or helping each other step into more of the good sides of the planet. Okay, and Venus is conjunct Sheet, which I talked about last month as one of the amazing stars. So it's Algernon, Sheet, and Merkaba talked about last month as parts of the Great Square of Pegasus. And I hope you had a wonderful time soaring. I had a lot of visions. Some of them turned out different than I thought they were going to, but hey, it's all learning. And we've got Chiron really close to Eris right now. And so there's wounding about having stepped up and tried to step out and, shake people up and say, hello. Women are, have a voice and women have power. So we've got that dynamic happening. And hopefully you've resolved the tension of having to be quiet and pretending you're not smart as a woman in the culture, and that now you're at a point where you don't mind showing your wisdom anymore. And if people don't like it, well, then why were you listening to me anyway? So it's powerful right now for women. That's one of the things. Another of the things is the star sheet Schedar, which I'm going to be talking about in a minute. Jupiter is sextile. Where's Jupiter? Jupiter's sextiling Chiron, which is why it's on my list as something that got activated. Chiron these two are also opposite this amazing star Arcturus. So if you do have some wounding still around people not thinking you're smart or that made you think that you weren't enough, there's some emotional healing available for you on that topic with the amazing emotional healers, star beings in and around Arcturus. So you tune into them at this time if you need that. Here is a mystic rectangle, this blue rectangle. The blue lines are flowing and they're gifts. And people are just amazed, how can you do that? And then you're amazed that other people can't do it because it's so easy for you. And the hard ones are the red lines here. They're the conflicts. They're the learning through. This is learning through flow and gifts. This is learning through conflict. And once you learn how to deal with the conflict, for instance, the Mars-Pluto opposition, once you resolve that within yourself, then it's much, much easier as you go through life and these things happen cyclically and they're going to happen again, and you don't want to be stuck in the same old level you were at the last time it came around. You want to have grown so that you can see it from a higher perspective. So the mystic rectangle has Venus, Neptune, Uranus, Sedna, South Node's supergalactic center, and Juno. So here's Juno. Juno deals with relationships, just like Venus does. And over here was the South Node and the supergalactic center on this corner. There is Neptune and Venus over on this corner, and then we have Uranus over here on this corner. And so all of these are flowing together. So it's when planets come together and they're in configuration with each other, they're becoming not so much, okay, this is me, I'm over here, or this is me, I'm over there. They're becoming a lot more. They're bringing out in my hope is always that they're bringing out the best in me. Not doesn't always happen, but most of the time that's what's happening, is that these planets, when they get together and start talking, a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one. And because what we're doing on Earth at this time, in my opinion, for the most part, is integrating. So we're integrating as many planetary archetypes as possible, as many star beings as possible, helping us, and they're giving us gifts. And if we can receive that, open to receive that, that's amazing. So all kinds of beautiful, beautiful things can happen. And then these powerful PowerPoints, we've got the Supergalactic Center, and we've got High Maya on the Shapely Attractor with Lilith. So that's powerful. And guess what? That's pretty much opposite this new moon. So if it's hard for you to, if the power of the Shapely Attractor is usually difficult for you to feel and navigate, and you want to tune into it, this is a really good time with the sun and the moon on the grounded Taurus to not get overwhelmed by the energy of Shapley. And I have a slide that I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that is, that energy of the Shapley Attractor, because it's part of this square, this grand square. Remember I said the red ones were the conflict ones? And so we've got the Shapley over here, to Pluto, to the sun and the moon, to Mars and Varuna. So we've got this square happening, and the squares are conflict. And so my greatest wish to you is not that you avoid the conflict, but that you open to the conflict and you ask for the divine help that's right there in the chart and say, okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to be opening to resolve this conflict, because the more we integrate, the more energies we integrate, the more parts of ourselves we bring home as okay to have, to be, the stronger and the more we are coming from our intuition, from our soulful self, as opposed to our ego. I know my ego has a tendency to run amok. I'm a Leo sun, so I'm very careful about knowing that it's not all about me. It is not service to self. It is service to others, service to all of us and humanity. And I remind myself daily that we are all equal, and to not put anybody up here in a hierarchy, or certainly not put myself up there in the hierarchy, or a group I belong to as the ones and the wise ones and the blah, blah. Yeah. We've heard that before. Don't do it yourself. If you judge another groups for putting their own little thing on as the greatest thing since sliced bread, don't do it yourself. I had to look at that the other day. Ceres conjunct Merkab right here. This is interesting, because this is a very large body in the middle of the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, and it's almost as big as a planet, and it's really powerful mother energy. It's like Demeter in the Roman stories. So Circe, I think, is the Greek name. And then, of course, Pluto is conjunct Altar. So if you need a little courage right now, Pluto is still conjunct this amazing star on the eagle's beak. So courage to speak your truth is what Altar and Pluto are about for me right now. So these are the conjunctions happening at this new moon, sun, moon, and Schedar. That's a picture of Schedar in the constellation of Cassiopeia. There's a more live picture of Schedar, and here is the W, which is the Cassiopeia constellation, and there's Schedar right there. And it is the strong, in Cassiopeia is the constellation of the strong woman, royal queen leader. Okay. And this star is happening on her breast. So the nourisher, okay, the giver of life, the heart, right by the heart, okay. And so this is very interesting that this Taurus new moon has this powerful woman leader helping us be sovereign ourselves. Now, it occurred to me when I realized that Cassiopeia was all about sovereignty, especially Schedar. And then I said, "Oh my gosh, right now I'm doing a scene and sovereign summit with some of my buddies, some of my colleagues who are offering their gifts at this time to the world. They're being of service to others instead of just be like serving to myself and just be all quiet and, afraid to be visible and afraid to say your truth and all that stuff. I used to be like that, but when I started speaking my truth, I'm like, you couldn't stop me after that. Speaking truth is one of the most powerful things you can do. Speaking the truth that rises from within your heart helps you understand the essence of you as soul in the moment. So I highly recommend that if you've been keeping quiet, that you jump in and watch this summit of all of these women who used to be too timid to say what they thought, because they are powerhouses now and they're all offering free gifts. So I'm going to put a link to that in case you want to go to that free thing online. And it's happening in Pacific time at 3 p.m. on April 28th. And if you're in Australia, it's a completely different day. But go ahead and hit the registration link, and then you'll see what time it is for your time zone. See if you can go do it. And if you register for this, you will be able to get the replay, and see it if that time doesn't work for you. Okay, so sovereign women speaking their truth and their wisdom. Let's support that, because the more people that are the most authentically themselves in the world coming forth and giving to all to make the world better for all of us, that's what I want to support. And as an astrologer especially, everybody's chart is unique, and all of our gifts and our challenges are in there, and I can help people reveal what it is that's been coming up for them. So that's one of the things that I think is really, really important at this time, because if we're all being authentically ourselves from within, then it's a different world. So, I love to talk about the Sabian symbols for the new and full moons, and this one was beautiful, a sleigh without snow. So, sleighs get built because there's an issue, there's snow, and now there's no snow. So now what about it? What is this sleigh doing now? So, but you can make something out of nothing with creative optimism. Changes are coming. We can follow any major setback with optimism and imagination, because just because things didn't happen the way you thought doesn't mean we're going to throw the whole thing out. It just means you're going to regroup a little and do, I thought I was doing this. Oh, I'm going to do this. Okay, got it. Yeah. So it's just a constant going with your intuition and finding it and saying, is this it? Oh, yeah. Is this it? Oh, no. And we know, when we know our yeses and nos, we know a heck of a lot. Okay, so next one, this is the Shapely. Now, what is the Shapely? The Shapely Attractor. We've got Lilith and Haimea, the dwarf planet of rebirth, conjunct this Shapely Attractor. It's one of the pieces of the red square. And it can be overwhelming to connect with this energy of Shapley because of the 500 million light years that astronomers can see right now. Okay. The biggest gravitational pull is from this body right here, the Shapely Attractor. Okay. And this is a picture from 2013. So we haven't really even looked at it that long, but we've got the galactic center meeting up with the Milky Way galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy meeting up and going to the supergalactic center with 32 other galaxies. And then we've got a gravitational pull to the Great Attractor, and people who have their sun on the Great Attractor, people are really attracted to them. I know. It's my husband and my best friend and a couple other people that I know that have that placement. And then there is the Shapley, which is even strong. It's like even bigger, if you can imagine. It's like this little tiny great attractor, and then the Shapley attractor pulling in this gravitational pull to millions of trillions of stars, hundreds of thousands of galaxies, just like coming in, just attracted to the Shapley attractor, named after an astronomer called Shapley, like that. So that's powerful. If you have any of these cosmic gravitational pull toward points in your chart, we really need your wisdom right now, because you have access once you learn not to be overwhelmed by the information coming to you all at the same time, and know that where we are now on the earth, we are working in the present moment, grounded to the earth with information from the stars, but all of what our unique gifts are revealing themselves from within our heart. So if you can hang with that, and you got some of these power points in your chart, then we really need your wisdom. We really need you to step up, step out, speak that truth, speak your wisdom that works for all of us. So if you want to be part of a community, I am doing a Taurus new moon ceremony on the 29th of March. Now, this new moon is on the 27th, but we're not doing the ceremony until the 29th, because sometimes it takes a while to understand what the energy was all about. So April 29th, we're going to have a guided meditation. People love my guided meditations because people that don't settle down and are able to really go deep within their heart are able to really settle and really tune in to their own heart and what is within them that wants to come out and be created. What vision wants to come up and come out. And so we work on that and share on that during these new moon ceremonies in a private, safe group of about 7 to 10 people in my Soul Portal Journeys community, Intuitives. So there'll be a link for that if you want to check it out. There's a free side where you just see a whole bunch of videos that are curated and a couple of handouts. And then there is the Intuitives, which is this group, which is really special. And I kept it really affordable for, giving away a twice a month powerful meditation and new moon classes, things like that. And it's $11.11 US a month. And of course, 1111 is an angel number, and the angels are supporting us now. And the gift at this summit I was telling you about Be Seen and Sovereign, I'm giving away a gift explaining the different angels and the different stars that they're related to. And of course, I have all 4 of the archangels stars in my chart, and I'm wondering how many of those stars you have, and if you have any, you should be helping and reaching out to those angels to help during these intense times of transition. So consider joining us on the 29th. Just jump in. If I will check at 9 a.m. on the 29th to see if anybody new joined Intuitives, and then I will send you the Zoom link to join us live and share with a group of like-minded people in a private setting, private online group. It's really, really pretty powerful. So I'll leave you with that, and love and blessings to you for this new moon. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.